So what can be done globally to beat plastic pollution? Adina Adler is Senior Director of International Relations at the Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries. She believes countries can break the cycle by reducing, reusing, and rethinking their approach to waste.
I think it's more about how do countries manage their solid waste and in the appropriate way to prevent pollution. How do you educate people on the importance of separating what's unusable trash from what's recyclable, what has value, and then how do you get those materials to recycling streams so that they can be recycled and used in manufacturing, and then of course whatever is not recyclable, how do you get that to the proper locations to be properly disposed.
It's interesting. I was reading this piece today about an upscale grocery store in Beijing, which sounds like an upscale grocery store in Washington, D.C. People walking around, staffers with canvas bags, handing them out because they don't want people leaving with plastic. But they say that one of the big problems is the outdoor markets. People are used to getting the plastic bags. How do you break that cycle?
Yeah, I think it is tough to change that mindset because the economics of the use of those bags are potentially more favorable than using perhaps, the canvas, bags. But having said that, then maybe how do you change the mindset of just reusing the bags? Use those bags 4, 5, 6 different times. And then are there collection sites for those bags? Those bags actually can be recycled if they're in a certain volume and they are taken to the proper recycler themselves.
Talk to me about plastics just in general, because I don't think it was on the radar for a long period of time, and it's a huge problem, isn't it?
It's a material that is easy to make, it's relatively cheap to make, and it has a vast number of uses, and so we as a global society have gotten really used to using them, and I don't think they're necessarily bad. It's more about how do you think about the long-term sustainability of the use of plastics. It is true, I think globally we only recycle about 9% of the plastics in the world, so there's certainly a tremendous amount of room for growth.
And how is China doing in terms of that type of thinking, do you think?
I haven't seen them at the table very much. I was at a meeting last week in Europe that was focused specifically on the sustainability of plastics, and there was only one participant from China who just talked about recycling and recycling policy within China, but he didn't really talk about how they are looking at getting plastics into the recycling stream.
And then China's new green fence policy. What can you tell us about that?
It's an evolving policy that is focused on just the same question about properly managing solid waste within China. Unfortunately, it has also captured the legitimate trade of scrap and recyclable materials that would go to China and be used in the manufacturing process. They have vastly restricted the amount of these energy-saving, really environmentally friendly materials from going into their manufacturing stream, and it has disrupted supply chains globally. I think there could be more opportunities for collaboration
and for people watching this, steps that they can take.
I think even when you have materials that are recyclable, just making sure that they are free of contaminations. How do you keep newspapers clean and dry so that they can be recycled? Making sure your cardboard boxes that you get lots of packages in are just flattened before you put them in the recycling stream. These are small steps that would go a long way to ensuring that those materials actually get into the recycling stream.
Adina Adler, thanks so much.
Thank you.